Welcome to an all-new Lay It Omni. Allow me to lay it on you. Hey guys, hope you're having a good day. Woke up finding out that one of my favorite comedians of all time, Kevin Hart, is officially getting canceled again. In case you guys didn't know, Kevin Hart has been getting into trouble over and over again for the past few years, which isn't too surprising because he's a comedian. Okay, a comedian this day and age is likely to get canceled once or twice a year because offending people in 2020 is illegal. Telling a joke that makes fun of anyone or anything is becoming risky, and to me, it feels like everyone has become extremely sensitive. Anyway, this one is funny though because Kevin Hart is getting canceled for basically calling his daughter a hoe on his most recent Netflix stand-up special, Zero F's Given, or more specifically, quote-unquote, hoe-like, as he puts it. Which to me, I think that's absolutely wild. Like, how do you get flamed for literally making fun of your own daughter? We all know that Kevin Hart loves his family. I mean, he has several kids, and in every stand-up that he does, he talks about them, and he talks about how much he loves them, and he pokes fun at them. But it appears that people still don't like what he has to say. So this whole thing is kind of messy and kind of confusing to understand, so let me kind of explain to you guys what specifically happened this time. What had happened was, a few days ago, Kevin Hart made an appearance on Clubhouse, which is this weird social media app that you have to be invited to. It's only for like famous people, really. It's kind of interesting. In this app, you can just join conversations that you see, and apparently there was an ongoing conversation where people were roasting Kevin Hart and telling him that he wasn't funny. And I think there's a difference between like the people who actually talk and the people who actually listen. Like, you don't have to be a part of the conversation. Sometimes you can just listen in. However, apparently you're not allowed to screen record the messages or you'll get insta-banned or something like that. So it's kind of like an audio version of Snapchat. Y'all know how I do, okay? I got the receipts, all right? I found a 15-minute video of the conversation. I'll play a few clips for you right now.
Okay, well, Kevin, I want you to remember one thing, okay? Unlike all of these other men in here who need something from you, who want your approval, want your validation, I don't need anything from you, and I want to hold you to account for the kinds of things that you're saying in this room.
Got
it.
And
nobody can say anything.
I don't need anything from Kevin Hart.
All y'all need something from Kevin.
Okay.
I don't need
Kevin. No, you guys are dick riding. Okay? Keep dick riding. There's a whole bunch of black women out there.
Guys,
Okay,
there's
relax.
a big line between dick riding and
Relax.
slur.
Look at this.
Relax.
Look at this.
No, ain't nobody gonna
This is
relax
not-
when somebody.
I'm so
nobody
sorry,
call me
guys.
no dick rider.
Guys.
This is not what the
This
rumors
is
was.
It's not to check people or call them dick riders, but to be fair, every time a woman is asking Kevin Hart a question, all the men in the room start interrupting her.
Period.
When the men in the room are talking to Kevin, nobody interrupts them or tries to laugh them out of the building.
Listen, guys, let her finish talking, but ask yourself one question: why is this turning to this? Like, guys, we were in a great vibe, we're in a great space. Don't let it turn left.
To me, that seems like Hannibal Buress actually used his platform to bring to light something that was heinous and destructive to an entire community. Cosby was doing all this shit for so many years, going about totally just destroying the lives of so many women out there who wanted their own futures within entertainment or comedy or what have you. Like, to me, that's like, first of all, it's obfuscatory, right? You're conflating things that should not be conflated. And secondly, it is like, it's insidious semantically. It's very insidious. That's all.
Okay, so I'm going to respond to you. There's a lot of words that you use that, I'm be honest, I don't know the definition to. So within what you said, I'm just going to give you reality. Do you think that I think Cosby is innocent?
I didn't say you thought that.
I just asked the question.
No, I don't think that.
Okay. Do you think that I think Cosby was wrongfully accused and should be let free?
No, I don't think you think that either.
Okay, so then what is the intent behind what you're saying you're doing? If you clearly know that I'm not an individual that's not on the side of thinking or believing that what he did was wrong, what's the intent behind your conversation? What's the intent behind your question? Because there's a high level of ridiculous attached to every conversation. So if you know the answers, wait a second. So if you know the answers to your questions, if you're asking them still, or you're only asking them to create a world of negativity. You just said, I don't believe that you feel that way. So then why continue to push the narrative? Because you want something negative.
I don't think you know what's going on inside the context.
I do know what's going on. And I gave you two.
I'm really sorry, just to be respectful. I think we did hear
both points.
Now, if you want to hear more, I have a link in the clip in the description below. So Kevin Hart came into this conversation apparently defending himself and having a conversation with a few women and men on the call. Kevin Hart tweeted afterwards, "Had an amazing conversation in the Clubhouse app today. Real talks with real people. This is the direction that social media is now going. Pretty dope." However, many people on Twitter had their own thoughts. Tony tweeted, "This Clubhouse room featuring Kevin Hart is a mess. Kevin Hart said black people have a culture of tearing each other down." Then Ed Lover said, "Black people love to hate you. White people will embrace you wholeheartedly, but black people will crap on you." Wow. DeRay tweeted, "So she said to Kevin Hart that he conflated critique with negativity, and Hart replied to her with questions about Bill Cosby. She definitely just got gaslit in this Clubhouse combo." Maya Angelique tweeted, "So you mean to tell me Kevin Hart was on Clubhouse calling the black women in the chat hoes, doubling down on slut-shaming his 15-year-old daughter, talking over and gaslighting black women, defending R. Kelly and Bill Cosby, letting other men threaten black women, etc." This guy tweeted, "Just to be clear, Kevin Hart ain't been funny with stand-up since his ex-wife quit writing for him. Underneath everything, misogynoir is a large part of him." Person tweeted, y'all, there's so much to say about this Kevin Hart convo. He's compared himself to Oprah and Obama and said black people bury their own. His chosen example is Bill Cosby. Happy Friday." This person tweeted, "When did everyone start hating Kevin Hart so much? LOL. I love his last stand-up joint. It might be his best." So guys, basically, a lot of people believe that Kevin Hart was gaslighting the women on the call, that he was defending Bill Cosby while condemning Hannibal Buress, and continued to defend his right to call his daughter's behaviors whole life. By the way, rewind, I just realized I didn't explain this, but basically if you haven't watched the special, Kevin Hart tells a joke about how, his daughter comes back every week like liking a new guy, while throwing away the old guy that she said she previously liked. After like the fourth or fifth guy, he makes a joke where he says that he calls actual hoes on the phone to confirm if what his daughter was displaying was whole life behavior. Obviously, I'm like explaining the joke, so it's not funny, but if you listen to it, you might get a chuckle, or you may not find it funny at all. Either way, a lot of his critics jumped down his throat and called him sexist for the comment. Kevin defended himself, mainly suggesting that people who are throwing shade onto his name are being overly negative and attempting to cancel him. And the comment about Bill Cosby was in reference to a remark where Kevin suggested that the comedian Hannibal Buress, quote, brought Cosby down, which many people equated as a defense for Bill Cosby, who, as you guys probably know, is a convicted sexual predator. So finally, after all of this talk and all of this criticism, Kevin Hart took to his own Instagram and posted this clip.
Guys, look, we gotta stop. All right, stop with the false narrative. It's a false narrative that's being created. If you were in the Clubhouse and a part of the conversation, this wasn't about black women. It wasn't about me going against black. Stop. A question was asked about the joke about my daughter and me referencing my daughter having hoe-like activity. I gave an answer to it. Here's what it is, guys. I'm not calling my daughter a hoe. I'm saying what she did is hoe-like activity. I called 3 former hoes that I knew and asked them, is this hoe-like activity? We had a conversation about it, a good back and forth. There was never a black woman and black man back, never. So stop with that false narrative first and foremost. Also understand, guys, there is no other way to market or promote because we're in a pandemic. I can't go and do the talk shows that I once did or go out and do the public stunts. I have no other way to market and promote except to go viral. I have to create conversations, generate back and forth. That's the marketing and promotion attached to my now special. It's common sense here, guys. Marketing, promotion. That's why I was in Clubhouse. Marketing, promotion, conversation. Hence, it leads to streams. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. 0 streaming now. But stop with the false narratives and the clickbait and the back and forth. There wasn't no comparison to Barack and Oprah, the shit that I'm seeing. Stop. Stop it.
And that's the Kevin Hart scenario in a nutshell, okay? There are two sides, people defending him and saying that he had a respectful conversation on the call, and then the other side who thinks Kevin Hart is deflecting criticism, gaslighting people, and is wrong. Overall, this all started with people questioning whether or not Kevin Hart is funny, which has been a debate recently because a lot of people have felt that Kevin Hart's comedy has declined over the years. Like, if you type the word Kevin Hart on most social media platforms, it's 99% filled with people clowning him and saying that he's not funny and that he's never been funny. So here's my take, okay? I have 3 points. Number 1, I think Kevin Hart is funny, but not as funny as he used to be. His stand-up special, Laugh at My Pain, made me cry so hard, guys. Like, there's this joke he makes where he talks about randomly reaching into different places in his house and pulling out a gun, and then he says, like, gun department, like... Yo, I could not stop laughing. However, I do feel like that was his peak, and I haven't quite got the same belly laughs from this man since. Like, I still think he's funny, and I still laugh at his jokes, and I like his current special, but I do feel like something's missing, and I'm not quite sure what it is. Personally, I'm more of a Dave Chappelle fan, but I do like Kevin Hart, okay? I'm not going to not watch a Kevin Hart do stand-up. Number 2, I think the calling your daughter a hoe joke is completely fine. It's weird because some people turned his joke into an attack on women and an attack on black women specifically, but this same joke could be used if Kevin Hart was white. Like, it could also be used if it was his son. To me, at least, being a hoe doesn't mean that you're a black woman. It means you rotate partners frequently. Women can be hoes, men can be hoes, black people can be hoes, white people can be hoes. And if you have a problem with slut shaming, I can understand why this joke doesn't fly for you. I don't like slut shaming either. I mean, I feel like it's great for everyone to do whatever it is they want sexually and no one should be shunned for it, but I don't think that means it's off limits to jokes about it either. So I think the joke was fine. And finally, number 3, I do think Kevin Hart is overly defensive and very sensitive to criticism towards him. I think he has a lot of valid points. Like, I do think people are extreme nowadays and can't leave criticism at just like, you know, I dislike said person and move on. Which is interesting because the same people joking about Kevin Hart and calling him not funny and never had been funny are the same people who are upset about him making jokes. Like, there's definitely a lot of irony there. But I do agree Kevin Hart does not like criticism. Like, he's the kind of guy who's like, you know, you gotta be positive, and anything that goes against the positive agenda or the good energy agenda is like the enemy or unnecessary. I'm also kind of like about that life, but like as a comedian, I feel that if you want the freedom to joke about whatever you want, however you want, you also have to be open to the freedom of people critiquing you however they please as well. It goes both ways. Overall, I don't think Kevin Hart is a really problematic guy. I think he's a comedian and he's going to tell jokes that don't fly. And then he's going to have to defend himself against cancel culture. I can't think of many comedians in this day and age that just tell jokes and fly under the radar from criticism. I think it basically at this point just comes with the job. But I do think he needs to be more conscious of how he comes off. Like, he believes he's a good person on the inside and therefore equates this to everyone else should, you know, be on the same page. But it doesn't work like that. He's got an ego issue. He's stubborn, but I don't think he's cancel worthy. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for this episode. Laid on and you've just been laid. Moral of the story, don't call your daughter a hoe. I legit found the joke funny. Like, I'm sure his daughter found it funny. I still stand behind the idea that people are just very sensitive nowadays, and people are always looking for ways to be offended or be mad on the internet. And I do think that is what is happening here. At the same time, Kevin says some questionable things that raises my brow, and I think a conversation about his mindset is equally as healthy and shouldn't be downplayed. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of this whole situation in the comments below. What do you think of Kevin Hart? Do you think he's funny or not? Do you think he's a sexist, misogynistic pig, or do you think he's just being canceled? Or what are your thoughts? I'm outie. If you made it to the end of the video, do me a favor and do me a solid and leave a like. It means the world to me and lets me know that I did a decent video. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I will see you guys on the next episode. You guys stay hydrated and have a good one.